Hi, everybody. It's Aurora from the Me and My Boyfriend Nicole podcast, and I'm speaking to you live from a very echoey bathroom. So, this week, Nicole and I just couldn't get it together. She worked a 60-hour week. I'm visiting my dad in Georgia, and the stars did not align for us to record an episode. And we've had this one in the archive for a long time. We didn't want to release it because it's a little bit different. We don't quite do this style or really speak like this anymore, but we wanted to always release it as like a, halfway through or a year anniversary or something. But this is the week we're going to put it out. I hope you enjoy it. Don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment down below. All right, love you guys. Bye.
Hi, everybody. My name's Aurora.
I'm Nicole.
And this is the podcast, Me and My Boyfriend Nicole.
Hi.
And this is just kind of our intro episode. We kind of want to talk about why we're doing this, where we see this going, who we want to reach, and just kind of letting you guys get a little mini peek inside inside our brains.
If you're listening to this, we want to reach you.
Yes, pretty much. Yeah,
Pass it along.
If you feel like this podcast would be good for somebody in your life who maybe needs it, don't be afraid to share.
Right?
We love new friends.
Exactly. So, how this came about.
Yeah, how did this come about? Okay, well,
first I'll start with, so it all started with a little mini breakdown in the bathroom floor.
Okay, maybe not that far.
No, really, that's where it started, though.
Really?
Yes.
For you it did?
Yes.
Okay.
For January 2019. Woo, kumbaya.
Oh, so we going back to the way back.
Right?
Like the real.
Well, you see what had happened was...
Doesn't every good story start with see what had happened was?
Right.
Or did you hear what this bitch said?
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, tell me about your bathroom floor Izzy from Grey's Anatomy moment.
Oh, Lord jeez. Okay, so what happened was I had been in a relationship.
For how long?
16 years.
Okay.
He had 2 children when we got together. I had 2 children when we got together. And then we had 1 together.
Mm-hmm.
And the holiday season was joyous, as always.
You gotta finish with Christmas strong.
Yes.
Did you guys bring in the New Year together?
Oh, kinda.
Ooh.
So, our son had come in from college and brought friends for the holidays, as he always does.
Mm-hmm.
And things have been tumultuous.
Tumultuous? There we go.
That word. They was crazy. Right?
Okay.
But being the good, Southern military parents that we are, we faked it,
Till you made it,
right?
baby.
Which is, that's how stuff goes. And I just assumed he is retired military, that it was like his PTSD, depression, anxiety, the holiday season. It's always really hard for him, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And just kind of going with that flow. There was a lot of partaking in holiday festivities.
Oh, of the eggnog variety?
Yes, there was. And so I was just kind of like, okay. Basically, right before New Year's, while my son was still here with his friends and stuff, it was a couple nights before, and we had a brunch that had turned into like an all-day having friends over holiday. So it snowed, like kids were here, and then we had like board games.
Perfect, like idyllic
right
day.
Oh, it was, had the big huge just meal, all day cooking, and just friends in and out of the house, and But it was also all day drinking. Not me, because I was cooking and playing games with the kids and doing everything.
Being the perfect hostess that you are.
Absolutely, honey. Southern. Towards the end of the evening, he was quite intoxicated.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
and
no.
started saying some things that didn't make sense, like going off on me about, you always say I'm just like your dad. And I was like, didn't nobody mention nobody's daddy?
It's like, what you talking about,
Right?
Willis?
And just kind of like getting really upset and just kept saying to him, I'm like, that isn't, why do you compare to me? I'm not your father. And I'm like, who's
What?
talking about who's daddy? Like, you know, and so then his friend proceeded to take him from the house and go do something else. So the next morning, I'm like, he's having coffee, sitting outside as we normally do, and I bring out coffee, and I'm like, hey, can we talk? And he said, about last night? I'm like, yeah. And he goes, okay. And I'm like, so what happened? He's like, well, you were comparing me to your dad. And I was like, nobody brought up my dad. And
No.
I'm explaining the situation to him. And I said, look, this is getting ridiculous. And it's to the point where you need to get help. I'll go with you. We've been to counseling back and forth for his PTSD and depression and stuff. And I'm like, and we can go and do that. If you want to do medications again, we can. If you don't, that's okay. It's your choice.
Right.
It's your, decision on what you want to do. But I am deciding not to be a part of this, roller coaster stuff anymore.
Right.
Like, I deserve more. The children deserve more. You deserve more.
I say he deserves more, not to
Absolutely
be in that constant state
yes,
of flux.
whatever it is. I'm like,
Right.
I want to help you. I want, to make it work. But if that's not what you want, then just tell me. Because I feel like there's something more going on. And he was like, I appreciate that. Let me think about it and I'll get back to you. And I'm like, okay, he's taking it serious because he didn't automatically say yes. Like normally he would say yes. Like,
Right.
I'm so sorry. Like, yes.
Just to kind of get you to, like, kind of shut up. But,
Well,
like, not shut up, but, like...
No, I feel like he always meant it. But it was like a knee-jerk reaction kind of thing. Like, yes, if you're saying I need help, then we need to do this, right?
It's not on his own volition. It's like he's actually like, oh, I do need to make a change. Like, I'm ready to make a change, like, kind of
and
thing.
so now, him taking it seriously and like, let me think about it. I'm like, oh, okay. And so then New Year's rolls around and he's like not wanting to go. We're supposed to go to our friend's house and stuff. And I'm like, no, come on. And he's on his phone all night. And it was just, we played games and did fireworks with the kids. And it was fun, but it just seemed kind of distant. So then, like, the next day I'm asking him, like, what's going on? Like, have you thought about it or what? And he's like, wait until after Christian leaves, our son. And we can talk about it then. And I'm like...
Is that a red flag for you at this point? Or no?
Yeah. Now I'm like,
Now
okay, what's going on? And so finally I'm like, look, you just got to tell me, like, you can't do that to me. What's going on? And he's like, he said he didn't want to do it anymore. I'm like,
The marriage?
well, I didn't know if it was counseling or what. And he was like, I just don't want any responsibilities anymore. I just want to, like, get on my motorcycle and just ride off and everything. And I'm like,
oh,
yeah, we're in our 40s. We got a mortgage.
we got kids.
We got kids. Like, we got pets. Like,
Right.
what? And just a few short months before, like 2 months before, 1 month before, you had me quit my job. And I specifically asked you, are we at a point where we're good? Like, he's like, we've been together for like 16 years. Come on now. I'm like, yeah, but I just want to make sure. Like, I'm kind of unsure about this. And our son had some issues in school and stuff. He has autism. And so we both wanted to homeschool again. And so, we had decided to do that. And I'd had some health problems and stuff. So he had wanted me to quit work. And I wasn't okay with it because I'm like, I'm quitting my career, everything else, again.
Yeah, you had quit the same job before.
Yes, and I just had this feeling, though, like something just didn't seem right, But he assured me it was okay, everything else. And so I quit. And then now you're saying this, And so my jerk reaction was like, what's her name? And he was like, there's not anybody. You always think there's somebody. I'm like, oh, there's always somebody. What's her name? There's nobody. Well, a couple of days later, I'm paying some bills and checking emails to make sure like some of the bills that went through and stuff, because it gives you, notice.
Yeah.
And there was an email to me from him because we have like a joint email account. And I was like, why do you email me? And so I look at it because it just said Nicole on it, right? It wasn't to me.
There was another Nicole.
There was another Nicole.
Oh, shit.
So she had my name.
Oh, that just makes it so, like, you obviously told me this story before, but, like, every single time I think about it, I'm like, that's just, like, so crazy to me.
Yeah, she had black hair, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. A lot of things similar.
Like, it's kind of gross. Like, it's just like,
I don't know about that.
It just makes me feel weird. It's
But-
like I can't date somebody with the same name as my dad or my brother. Like, it's just one of those things where, like, it's just not cute.
Right. Well, for me, it took me to this whole other place because it was like, I have invested so much.
Yeah.
And I really thought this was forever.
16 years.
And I was like madly in love with this person, you know? Like,
Yeah.
apparently, you know?
And you were still willing to fight for it. You had
Yeah.
you had literally just reached out and said, I'm willing to do this with you.
Yeah.
Like, commit to you.
Again.
Like, be with you.
Yeah.
Help you.
Earlier that year, I had asked him about redoing our vows, like have another commitment ceremony kind of thing. And he was like, this is kind of an odd number. I think we should wait till we hit like 20. And I was like,
Okay.
that's kind of weird, but okay.
See, you know what's so funny is, like, obviously hindsight's 20/20. You're like, should have seen that coming.
Right.
That was weird.
You just never know. Like, I had a
No.
feeling something wasn't right, but I didn't know what it was.
Well, and you don't ever want to assume the worst of your spouse. Like, really. Oh, if you hear snoring, that is the dog, Lucy.
Yes, that is my pit bull mix.
Yeah, she's laying right now, and you can hear sweet baby.
Yes, she didn't want to be left alone. So, here's the thing, though. So, a grown-ass adult, you put your big girl panties on,
Yeah.
and you schedule your breakdowns.
Yes.
Like a proper Southern,
adult woman.
yes. And so, I keep going. Let's remember, too, my son is still in from college
Oh.
with his friends, right?
Oh.
So then the
Oh.
next day, like,
You're just trying to keep it together at this
keeping
point.
it together, just like nothing's wrong, like
yes, we're
everything's
having a
great. Yes,
grand old time
yes,
making breakfast.
yes. And I'm
like,
kissing them and like telling them be careful and be safe and sending them off and stuff.
They would
and
never know.
and yeah, woo, honey,
This is what strength looks like.
right? And so later when everybody's gone and the baby's in bed and everything, I go in my bathroom, turn on the shower, and I'm literally hitting the floor, like, just crying. Like,
Just singing to your knees. Just can't get
no
up.
job, right?
Oh, shit.
Autoimmune disease, right?
No husband.
No husband. It's the holidays. I didn't spend every penny I got, right? Right? Like
Really setting myself up for
Right.
success here.
unemployed.
Unemployed?
I had a
Still
plan.
had insurance. at
I
this
still
point.
did have insurance, yes, through the ex.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But okay. What am I supposed to get with that? But so, and then and the kid with the autism, which we're homeschooling, and a mortgage, and yeah.
So you're really just at the height of the pinnacle of success.
It was like I couldn't breathe. Like, what am I going to do? Like, I did not see this coming, and
Right.
I'm just floored. And it's Happy New Year. Come
Just,
to
like,
find
sobbing
out,
on the floor.
he was talking to the girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
The
Nicole. The other Nicole.
yeah. But he was talking to the girlfriend New Year's Eve night, and at midnight had told her, Happy New Year, and that he was stuck with me and couldn't get away. And,
Stuck with you.
yeah,
The wife.
yeah, and wishing that he was with her, whatever. But here's the thing.
Is that the one who was comparing him to the Pappy at that point? Like, do we have that confirmed yet? I'm just curious at this point.
What are you talking about?
Well, he said that you were comparing him to his dad. Like, was that a conversation that they were having and he transferred it to you?
No.
Or?
So what it was, woo, honey, life will cycle until you see it and move past it and really deal with yo shit. So here's the correlation. Okay. So my father, when I was 13 years old, left my mother, right? And I was one of 5 kids. We have 5 kids together. And he left my mother for the secretary. The woman that my ex is having an affair with was the secretary. And our son was 13 years old.
At the time. And is also the child of 5, basically.
Yeah. So.
Oof.
Ooh, circles, honey. Circles, cycles.
Cycles. Wrong cycles, but cycles.
Ooh, child. So that's where that came from. So after I pulled myself gracefully up from the floor and wiped my face and decided it was time to come up with a plan, right? I decided that I was going to face every fear that I have. Every fear that I have. Like, life is short. Let's live it. We've been surviving.
Now we gonna
living
live.
For everybody else. Now we gonna do me.
I love that.
It's time to do me. And so one of the things that I'd always wanted to do was stand-up comedy, right? But alas, I had horrible stage fright. Horrible.
It's so surprising to me because you were such a charismatic, like, out there, like, outgoing, like, lovable person. So to hear that you had stage fright is so, like, girl, what? But I guess it makes sense.
Oh, I did too. But it's because it's not you and me bantering back and forth or like me, you know,
with
playing
a bunch of friends. Like, yeah, I feel you. It's different.
It's you on stage by yourself, you know.
Nobody else.
Right? Ride or die. Like,
we gonna make it or we not.
Right? But it was so awesome. So there was a bowling alley bar here in town that was starting open mic nights. And so I was like, I'm going. And so I went like the next week. And after a couple shots of tequila, I got up there and did like a 15-minute show.
Oh,
and
shit.
It was amazing.
That's
like,
a whole 15-minute set. That's
yes.
a spot at the Comedy Store, queen.
Yes, because I was like, how long can you go? They're like, we'd like for you to do at least 5 minutes, but you can go as long as you want. And I ended up doing 15 minutes. And I didn't tell anyone. I didn't tell any of my friends. I didn't tell you. I didn't tell nobody that I was doing it. I just went and did it. And it was amazing.
Oh, my gosh.
And I was addicted. And so it was like every other Tuesday night. And so I started doing that and just building my confidence and just feeling good. And it was something I was doing for me. And from that, I was like, where do I go with this? Like, some people do karaoke. I was doing stand-up. But I really just felt in my heart and soul, like, I really want to do that. And my whole comedy thing was about, you know, kind of like what had happened and about starting to date and in your 40s, you know, you haven't dated in almost 2 decades and lots of stuff had changed. Like, when I was single before, it was dial-up internet. Yeah. And there was no such thing as dating apps, you know?
Right.
So just all that kind of stuff. But then dating and online, whatever, and meeting people and stuff, and especially people around my age, it was just a shocker. Like, there's so many people out there just really lonely and sad. And, you know, I got really lucky. I met a lot of nice people. I didn't meet the person, you know, but...
Did you feel like meeting all these people was, like, bringing out a whole different side of you
that you
hadn't been in touch with for, like, what? Maybe your whole life or 20 years? Who knows?
Oh,
like,
at least. And it was just crazy. Like, I had forgot me. I forgot how much fun I was. And it was just wonderful.
I can honestly tell you, like, it was the best thing to happen to you. Like, you really, like, blossomed. Like, you texted me out of the blue and you're like, yeah, I'm doing, like, stand-up comedy now. And I was like... that seems right. Like, that makes sense to me. Like,
I loved it.
Like, Nicole always makes me laugh. Like, I can see that.
Right? But the thing is like, okay, where do I go from this? I have a teenage son. You know, I'm like a single parent now.
Right.
What am I going to do? travel to different bars and clubs and stuff around the country, like, and just like bring my autistic kid with me. Like, you know, what am I going to do?
That's not sustainable.
Yeah, absolutely. Right.
Right.
So then I'm like, well, you know, there's always stuff like online, things like that. And so it started for me that I really wanted to do something to reach out to people, you know, and to talk to them and say, hey, there is life out there. You know, I got knocked on my ass, but it does get better. Also, one of the reasons I wanted to do the stand-up thing was to bring awareness to like suicide and depression, because my middle son.
Nothing like it like comedy, baby.
Right? Let's make you laugh. It's better to laugh than to cry. But that was something really close to my heart because he had struggled with depression and stuff like that, and when he was younger and puberty and stuff. And I got very, very lucky that he felt safe and that we had the type of relationship where immediately he came and talked to me about it.
Right.
You know, and we were able to get him help and to work through that and stuff. And so there's been many times in my life where it's the struggle has been real. Mm-hmm. You know, where like the water got cut off and we're having to bum water from the neighbors, you know, like hose, or you know, just the autism and the kid banging their head in the floor, and I'm like, I'm ready to bang my head in the floor with you, and just all kinds of stuff, you know. And so I just wanted to, you know, be able to help other people and let people know you're not alone. And then from that, the idea of the podcast kind of grew.
Yeah.
You know, a way to reach out and talk to people and just let people know, like, share stories, and not just share my story, but to have conversations with people, all types of people, all different backgrounds, everything else, to help people by other people sharing their stories, what they've struggled through, what they've went through in life, and how no matter what you're going through, all you have to do is just get up the next morning. Just keep getting up. It will get better, you know, and
Even if it's the hardest thing you did that day. Like, you still get up off of out of the bed, off the floor.
Yes, and one of the big things I learned was I started meditating again, which I hadn't done in years. Mm-hmm. And I love to start out my day where I just go outside in nature and sit and have my coffee. And I start every day with gratitude, you know, that I woke up today. Mm-hmm. Like, today is a gift. Like, that's a big thing I've learned too, is being in the present. Mm-hmm. The present right now is a gift, you know. And I started out with, you know, 10 things I'm grateful for, you know. I have a roof over my head. I have food in the fridge for my child. You know, I can walk, I can talk, I can see, which is a big deal.
Yeah.
Because there have been days where my eyesight was hokey pokey, you know, and I had difficulty walking, or, you know, was so exhausted, you know, I just could barely move, or my legs weren't walking, and I have scars on my legs from where I was falling down, you know, and stuff. So, you know, a lot of times it is the little things that are huge. But yeah, just wanting to share that. And then I had talked to you and other friends about it and stuff. And then we had our moment in Alaska.
Yeah, so this whole thing started for me, like Nicole. I have a less tragic beginning, I guess, when it comes to the podcast. This whole thing started for me. Nicole told me she wanted to do stand-up comedy, like wanted to do something for it morphed into like internet entertainment, things like that. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, I listen to a lot of podcasts. I watch a lot of internet. Like, I feel like I can help her do this. And I'm like, yeah, I'm like, you just seem so passionate about it. So at first I was just going to be a producer. Just kind of like this voiceless comedy, like kind of talking shit from the corner.
What?
Which is not my usual personality. I don't know what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. No, I was just kind of going to be a background person. And originally we were going to do this with my brother. Back in the beginning when we were still calling this thing Mooney and the Wolf.
Right.
So I was gonna make that happen. I really just wanted to make Nicole's dreams come true. Like, I was really like, I can do this for her. I want to do this for her. Like, this can be done. This will be done. I was like, all right, I'm gonna help her do this.
Because I needed help.
Oh yeah, Nicole is lovely. She's the idea person. I am the person that executes the idea.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why we're such a good team.
I'm like sparkles and rainbows and sunshines and it'll all be okay. And you're
I'm
like,
yeah, how's that gonna get done?
right? You're like, pen to paper, boo. And I'm like, oh, okay. So,
yeah, everything is very much like, okay, Nicole, now what do you want to do? Like, I can do anything. You just tell me what you want to do, sweetheart. Like, we'll make it. You're doing great, sweetie. We'll make it happen.
I don't know why people think we're a couple.
Yeah, no, very supportive friendship here. But I was like, yeah, I can make this work for Nicole. I'm going to do this. And then things just weren't quite working out. Like, things weren't coming together the way we thought they were going to. And then Nicole was like, I really want someone to talk to. Like, she's like, I don't want to do this alone. And I was just like, all right, I'll do it. I was like, okay, I'll do it with you. So then just the balls started rolling. We were originally going to wait until we could have like a legit studio and all kinds of stuff. But I was like, literally one day, I think I called you like out of the blue. And I was like, Nicole, what are we waiting for?
Right.
Let's just do it.
Let's just do it.
Let's just record an episode. Let's just do it.
Yep.
So we kind of flipped it around, and then finally, we flipped around for like a week or two. And I was like, Nicole, we're not doing anything. We just need to record an episode.
Yeah.
So I come over to the house. I pull up the app, the podcasting app that's helping us do this. I was like, all right, we're going to record an episode. So we recorded a whole episode. It went great. We played it for Trinity. You'll hear her later. She's going to be a guest.
My baby girl. Yeah.
And we were just like, oh my gosh, this is good. Like, okay.
Right? And Trinity was like, she's very, very critical. Okay, she has her own business, everything. Very critical. And she was like, I wasn't bored at all. Like, I really liked it.
Oh, that's the compliment.
That was a huge compliment from her. I love her. She's wonderful. So
we just decided, let's make this happen. But
right?
I think the moment where it really came to fruition, like to go back to the beginning, was Nicole and I took like a trip of a lifetime to Alaska.
Right.
With two of our friends, Darlene and Nicole. You'll hear them later. They're going to be some guests too. And it's like in the middle of COVID. We'll talk about this whole thing. Basically, long story short, middle of COVID, we're like, we need to get out of the state. Like, let's just go. Even if we have to fly across the country. Like, so we did. We flew to Alaska, rented an RV, drove around Alaska for a week, and just had this, like, life-changing, butterfly out of cocoon trip. Yeah,
so first of all, I didn't even know I wanted to go to Alaska. That was where everybody wanted to go, and I was like, all right. Single mom over here, I didn't know how I was going to pay for it. I didn't have a lot of money. And
neither did I. What you mean?
I know, right? And I was also unemployed then. Let's understand, I did get a job this last year, but COVID hit me hard, okay?
It had everybody.
I had 2 jobs and lost everything. But, so I took the money I had, right, which was like $600. I had savings. I took the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, it's like $300 for the plane ticket. It was like $300 and something. And then it was another like $200 and something for my part of the RV. And so I was like, I got like $100 for a week. I did jar of peanut butter, jar of jelly. I'm good. Yeah. Couple apples, bananas, let's go. Like, I will just, figure it out.
And we did.
Yeah, but something else happened to me. I did not know that my son Christian, who's in college, had talked to Darlene and Nicole, and had decided he was going to give me money so I could do stuff. This is my child, right? And so the day that we were leaving, he called me that morning and he said that he had Venmo'd me $300 so that I could have some fun. Right? I had no idea. Oh my God, I love that baby so much. And so my child gave me spending money so that I could have fun in Alaska with my girlfriends. Now, this is where you say it, you see it, you do it. I just put it out in the universe. You know, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to afford this. I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I'm going.
Yeah.
I had never taken a trip that long in my life without children. It had been over 20 years. Yeah. Before we broke up, I hadn't been gone more than one night, which would really have been only for work, in over 16 years from my children. I had been separated because of my youngest having autism, everything
I didn't realize
else.
That.
Not until me and Darlene Nicole took a trip to Savannah for a weekend for a girls' trip, and Trinity and Hunter kept Nicholas.
Yeah.
I hadn't been away at all. I'd never been away from him more than one night. Like, yeah. So that was a big deal. So to me, I was going out of the country, okay? Look, I know it's the same country, okay? But I'm like, there's a country in between.
Quick story. We're sitting on the couch discussing the trip at one point, and Nicole, like dead serious too, like bless her, like she really meant this question. She was like, "Are we gonna have to change our money?"
I don't recall that.
No, you did.
I
will call Darlene right now.
Oh.
And we all just kind of...
I think I was tired.
Okay. We all just
I did think I had to take my passport. But that was like, what if we get stuck in Canada? And they're like, honey, we're landing in Seattle. But I was like, you never know. Something could happen. Yeah.
Yeah, no. It was a whole thing. It was really funny. But yeah, so we're having this life-changing trip. Like, everybody's having a great time.
Right.
And Nicole is not in the RV. She had, like, gotten up in the middle of the night. It's one of our last nights in Alaska, right? I think. Like, the night before the last one, I think. At this point. We're in Seward?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're in Seward. And she gets up, and I, like, let her have her moment to sit outside. And then I get up.
Yeah, because we were, like, RV, parked on the beach, sunrise. My ass is out on the beach building a fire. Okay, but listen. Okay, so I was trying to use seaweed that I thought was dry and building, like, with, like, the wood, whatever, that I found around on the beach. Mm-hmm. Yes, it was not working, right? So this sweet older lady walking her dog took pity on me. And she was like, oh, honey, that's never going to start. I'm like, I see that. She's like, you need to have some, like, paper or something. And I'm like, everybody's sleeping in the RV.
We didn't even have paper in the RV.
I don't think we did either. Right. So she was like, hold on. So she went back up to her house and brought me, like, a paper towel roll and some paper towels and, like, newspaper so I could start a fire. And I was like, oh, thank you so much. She's like, do you have a lighter? I was like, I got a lighter. Thank you.
She smokes cigarettes. She got lighter.
Oh, Lord, you got to talk about it. So I started the fire. And then, next thing I know, this angel walks down the hill to me.
Oh, please. Okay. Yeah, I walked around the town a little bit before that. Because I was like, I just want to see what there is to see. Like, I'm walking downtown Seward. I'm like, I'm going to go there for breakfast. Like, oh, this is a cute little mural. And I was like, oh, is that the beach? So I'm like, let me just walk down there. I have no idea where you are. At this point,
I always thought you was coming to find me.
No.
I had no idea.
I wasn't coming to find you. So I walked down the hill to get down to the beach. And who do I see but Fozzie? So we'll talk about Fozzie and what that means on our Alaska episode. But I'm like, oh shit, there's Nicole. So I walk down the beach and I'm like, hey, what you doing? And like, we're just like sitting, talking. Meanwhile, I'm like gathering all of this driftwood to make the fire bigger and bigger and bigger. Just like adding everything, and we're just like talking and vibing, and like we're talking about like our goals and what we want to do by the end of the year.
And let's paint a picture here. I am in, okay. I am in footy pajamas. Not only footy pajamas, but they were my son's footy pajamas, Christmas footy pajamas, with kitty cats with Santa Claus hats on them, sitting on the beach.
It's
in
not
this
December,
big
y'all.
fuzzy coat, right?
It is not December.
It's Alaska. It's cold in the summertime, a little in the morning, okay?
It was June, bitch.
It was still cold.
It
I was
was
building
June.
a fire. Whatever. I was comfy, but I'm just, so like we're having a moment out here. Like it's the most peaceful, zen, most beautiful moment. Like one of the most beautiful moments of my life. In case my kids are listening to this, they was beautiful moments too. But this is a totally different thing, right?
It's a whole nother level.
It is like this peace and calm and just tranquility that just flowed over me, right? And I'm sharing it with my bestie. And we're just talking about life and where we're at and what we're happy with and what we're not happy with.
And what do we want to do to change it?
Mm-hmm.
And
I...
that was a life-changing morning for me.
It was, right? Yes. And I just have this calling that I want to help people, that I want to, like talk to people and pass the message that just to keep on keeping on, to hold on, like it's going to get better, like life gets better. Like if it wasn't for the bad times, you wouldn't appreciate the good times.
Right.
And I know people tell you that, but it's the truth. And one of the most beautiful things that I have learned throughout this journey of life, and definitely the journey since January 2019, is that there is so much beauty in the unexpected.
Yeah.
There really, really is, And the love that I have received from you and Darlene and Nicole and Amy and my children, and my new grandbaby, everything else, like it's amazing. It's a level that I never, ever expected. And it's so beautiful. And if it wasn't that I went through what I went through, I would have never experienced it on that level. And then just us women being out there in nature like that the whole time, which that's all we did was just travel the coast.
Yeah.
Sleeping in an RV on the beach, just waking up to this and just being out in it. And it was just, breathtaking. Like
it was like, I think about that moment and I'm so thankful that I decided to step out of the RV that morning and just take a walk by myself, like do some reflecting. Like I was very in a mood to reflect. I had finally taken the time to really step out and be in that morning. I was like, these are one of the last few times we're going to be here. Like I need to make the most of it. And then I found you on the beach. And honestly, I feel like that's just a metaphor for, what this is and, what we've built together. You started it. It was your idea originally. You had already wanted to do it. And I just kept coming back, with handfuls of driftwood that I was, almost falling over for, just trying to gather it and, having such a good time. And, we were building it and the fire would get bigger and then it'd get smaller. And then we'd bring it back. And, I just feel like that's what this is. We're literally building the fire on the beach constantly with this.
Yeah, and it was so beautiful. I took pictures, and
I love that
we'll post those. But yeah,
I love that we're going to be able to listen to this in 6 months from now, a year from now, 5 years from now, and just to listen to where we were and think about how far we've even come from now.
And it's so weird. We talked about the other day how it was only a few months ago, but it feels like it was years ago.
Literally, I swear 2020 has been 3 years
right?
and it's the wildest thing. In my life, there's a pre-Alaska time and a post-Alaska time.
Right.
At one point, we were sitting on the beach. It was so hippy-dippy now that I think about it. We were putting our intentions into the fire and letting them burn. If
putting it out in the universe.
Yeah, like, you know, it was almost like ritualistic, and I try not to think about that too much, but like,
oh Lord, for me it was perfect. It was a beautiful moment.
It was a
magical
moment. It was, but like at one point I was sitting on a log and I was like, I'm really unhappy with my job.
Yes.
I want a new job by August.
Yes.
And like literally had a new job by August. I'm at the happiest point right now, like not making as much money as I was, like realistically, like maybe not killing it in the money department, but like career wise, like mentality wise, spiritually, like mentally, like everything is so much better than it was. Yep. And it just makes me realize, like, when you're really doing the thing you're supposed to be doing, and I really feel like we're supposed to be doing this podcast with each other, being friends, like building this whole thing together, like it just works.
Yeah. There's a moment we had then that has stuck with me this whole time. And anytime I've doubted doing the podcast, or like, what do I have to share? Or, you know, anytime I'm like, oh, you know, should we really do this? And if I'm going to do it, I'm going to be 100% me. I'm going to be completely honest. I'm going to completely put myself out there. Like, everything is open for discussion.
Absolutely. Completely
open, right? So do I really want to rip all those wounds open and flash my soul? Because you're going to learn a lot about me. There's a lot. And there will be pictures. There is evidence. But
good luck, future suitors.
Right? Yes. Woohoo! And all my children, mommy loves you. But no, but there was a moment we had on there when we were talking about doing the podcast and stuff, right? And I was telling you that I didn't know I would be here at this point in my life, right?
Yeah.
I didn't really have a plan past 40. You know, in my 20s, I was like, ooh, I don't know if I'll be alive past 40. Like, you know, what'll happen, you know?
Yeah.
Just due to life situations, to health issues, everything else. And so, you know, now I'm like, what do I do now? Like, everything I had thought was going to happen has totally changed. And so this is just something that I just feel this calling towards. And do you remember what you said to me?
No.
You don't remember what you said to me?
No. It's probably someone I've said before, but yeah.
You said you didn't know you'd be alive at this point in your life either.
Oh, damn. Okay, we're really going to go there.
It stuck with me. But it has stuck with me. And if you want to share the reason for that, that's up to you. But it has stuck with me to the point where I'm like, we are doing this no matter what, because it was such a beautiful moment of truth for you that you shared with me from your soul. And I have taken it as a gift.
Oh, wow.
And I am very thankful for it, and I will not fail you. And so we are going to do this. And here we are.
Here we are.
So.
Well, hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. Yeah, I mean, it's really no secret that I've struggled with, like, mental health issues, since I would say I felt the rumblings of it at 8 years old, and then just continued on for my entire life, basically, since then. But at one point, well, in a couple points, really, like, let's be honest, I was really suicidal and had contemplated, like, at one point, like, I had this, like, flash of, like, me running my car into a tree, like, going down the road, and, so I didn't really have, like, dreams or goals. I just kind of saw my life ending at a certain point in my 20s. And then I got there. And I really had, like, no idea what I was going to do. I was like, oh, shit.
Right?
I didn't plan for this. So when I got there, I was like, okay, well, we've never really let ourselves dream that big, so what are we going to do now? And I've fumbled around for a while, and I just turned 27. Oh, gosh.
Oh, my God, you're so old.
I was like, okay, what do I want to do? And I was like, well, it sure is not working where I'm working now. So that's got to change. Well, I didn't realize that had stuck with you. That makes me feel better, that my pain and suffering made you feel better.
Well,
what I mean? It makes me feel good. It makes me have hope for this whole podcast, that me saying that one moment to you has made you feel better in times of where you needed a little bit of bolstering. That really does mean a lot to me.
It does.
And I hope to do that for somebody else.
Yes. And even more than that, it was that you shared that with me. And to me, like I said, it was like a gift. And how dare I not pursue this with you putting that gift in my hands, you know? And that if we can just help one person get through one day, make one person laugh when they're having a hard day, you know, if we can help other people to be able to not feel alone, you know, because there's been so many times throughout my life, but definitely in the last 2 years, that I felt so alone.
Yeah.
And then you were there, you know, Trinity was there, Hunter was there, Christian was there, Nicholas, Amy, Darlene, Nicole. Like, how dare I, you know, not pursue this when I've had so much support, everything else. And you said you started around 8 with like your depression and stuff. Christian started at 9.
Yeah.
And that was one of the scariest times in my life. But like I said, I feel so just so thankful that he came immediately and talked to me.
Yeah, I didn't tell my parents.
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole nother episode about why I didn't tell anybody. I'd never really told anybody that before until I told you. I think, well, I told my best friend before, and I think maybe at that point I had maybe told my dad, because there was a moment where I was like really going through it in college. Had a few moments like that.
Mm-hmm.
Where I think maybe I told him, but it's not something I share lightly. You know, mental health can be such a sore and like painful subject. So I'm hoping like the more I talk about it, the better it'll make me feel, and also maybe make somebody else like more willing to share with the people that are close to them and love them and just want to, you know, see them be better.
Right. And that's where I always want you to know, you know, how much I love you, I care about you, I appreciate you, but also how much a gift you are to my life. Like, you are just sunshine and goodness and yum-yums and just wonderful. And, you know, I wouldn't be where I'm at or who I am at this point without you. And I love you.
Yeah, I can honestly say the same. I wouldn't be who I am today. I think we've really helped each other grow.
Mm-hmm.
Over the past few months especially, like, I don't know, we've pretty much talked every day since we started this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's been nice to, like, have a touch base and, like, no, I'm like, okay, I can call Nicole, like, if I just need to talk for, like, 5 minutes, like, kind of thing. So, we want to be your, I just need to talk to somebody for 5 minutes.
Right?
Friends.
You're sitting in traffic and you need a laugh, or, you know, you need to hear that someone else is having a rough day and making it through, you know? Or, you know, you just want to be a part of something, then be a part of this with us, because we're going to take you on a journey.
On a ride.
Right.
No. Woo! We're hoping to, like, incorporate, like, really getting to talk to people. Like, that's something that we both really value. Conversation. Yeah, we want to kind of like woman on the street style, like, interview people, ask them questions, get to know them, like, what are their thoughts on certain topics, and discuss their perspective either with them or maybe back home in the studio.
Right.
But
we're going to laugh a lot. There might be some tears.
There will be tears. I'm a crier.
Right? I'm out loud and proud about everything, so you're going to hear it all. But we really just want you to tune in and have fun and just sit back and relax and enjoy.
Yeah, thanks.
You know, the reality that is us.
Yeah. Oh, girl.
And
Bless
all our
them.
friends and our new friends. And we're going to take trips and, you know, meet people and bring a whole world to you.
And see where this crazy thing takes us. We've got some big dreams.
We got some big, big plans and some big ideas and some fun times ahead. So
yeah, we've already...
buckle up, Buttercup.
Good luck.
Right? You're going to need it.
You're going to need it.
Woo-woo.
I would like to officially, on the record, apologize for any and all inappropriate shenanigans.
Okay, so that's Aurora. Nicole would like to say, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay, that's
Mwah.
fair.
Kisses.
All right. Well, thanks so much for listening to our first ever... Well, it's not our first ever podcast. We've recorded a few episodes. But our intro podcast, first time on the platform. Thanks. If you made it this far, bless them.
Right?
Hi,
Right.
Mom. Hi, Dad.
Hi, babies. But we love you.
Yeah.
You are beautiful exactly as you are. You are perfect. And we wish you all the best.
Yeah.
And we will be here with you and for you.
And if no one has told you today, maybe you need to say it to yourself. I hear you. I see you. And I acknowledge you. And if you need to repeat that to yourself a couple times,
Right?
do it.
Yeah.
I'm not above a moment in the mirror.
Right.
Where you're very Michael Jackson. Like, I would sing it.
Not Michael.
Oh, wait. Maybe not Michael. Wait, you know what? You ain't gonna take Michael from me. You done took R. Kelly, okay? Like, you are not gonna take man in the mirror moment from me.
Okay. You win, boo. I'm unworthy. So, we love you. Kisses, kisses, kisses. Hearts.
Well-
And we will catch you later. Every Monday.
Oh, yeah.
So you have something to look forward to.
For that work week.
Right? You're welcome.
Or if you're retired, just the start of the week. I don't know.
Or if you're unemployed, okay? Shit happens.
Shit happens.
Right? I know. That's where I'm at. Hot dogs and eggs. We'll talk about that later.
Ooh.
Kisses.
That's bleak. All right. Signing off from me and my boyfriend, Nicole.
Bye.
Love you.